Hey, Mark here, and I have a really cool giveaway for you. I have 5 digital copies for the movie Devotion, which was released in 2022 and stars Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell. And it's just a really cool film that I think you should watch. I'm a big fan of Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell. You should absolutely watch The Last Black Man in San Francisco and Everybody Wants Some and Set It Up. I love those movies. But yeah, I have 5 digital copies, and if you'd like one, just shoot me a message and say, hey, Mark, I would love to enter the raffle for a digital copy of Devotion. So yeah, bring Devotion home on digital. Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell star in the epic and inspirational story based on true events of 2 heroic U.S. fighter pilots whose sacrifices made them the Navy's most celebrated wingmen. Buy Devotion on digital now, packed with behind-the-scenes bonus content, available at participating retailers, rated PG-13 from Paramount Pictures. Now you can't buy this until January 8th. This episode's releasing on the 7th. So if you do want to buy it and you don't win the raffle, just wait till the 8th. Thank y'all, and I hope you enjoy this bonkers episode we got in store for you. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who's recording this episode from inside of a chopper. It's Nathan Leahy.
Gotta get to it.
This
is gonna be fun, man. We've talked about this episode for a long time. I don't remember when the idea came up, but we were both super gung ho to pit these two against each other.
Well, I want to get right into this. I want to be like Jeff from the Craig Ferguson late night show, channeling Liam Neeson and going like, quickly, there's no time. So normally we kind of BS in the beginning, but I want to get to this. And this
lots to cover.
This episode came from, we did a Predators episode, you and I, where we talked about the scouting system of the Predators and how, I was watching it again for this episode, and Topher Grace's serial killer, he's pretty chill about the fact that Predators caught him. Predator scouts caught him. Their CSI unit got him and brought him to he just doesn't care. So watching that again, I was thinking about that. And then Adam Hodgins, he pitched an episode where he's like, I need to get an episode out of this too. So then you listened to that, and then we started talking about Ewoks and how I think Ewoks are criminally underrated. And then you and I somehow came to the conclusion of, hey, let's do a Ewoks versus Yautja episode, aka Predators.
Yeah, they would have come across Endor at some point with the John Lovett scout that we had talked about in our episode. That is the lowest of the low in Predator Society. They can't fight, so they have to go find things for others to fight.
And
job.
The most exciting thing about this episode is that I went back and I kind of scoured through Caravan of Courage, an Ewok adventure, and Ewoks: The Battle of Endor. Ewoks: The Battle of Endor, which were released in 1985 and 1984. So, but what I learned is Endor is a death planet, Nathan.
Yeah, there's a lot that they have to deal with. Like it's funny in Jedi that they just show up and they're these cutesy things and going through and they befriended Leia, but you were telling me as you were finding this stuff of just how bonkers. The only things that when I was looking around is there was the Goraks, the giants.
Oh my gosh.
That they dealt with, and then I also came across the Condor dragons, which just sounds awesome. Putting those two words together, a Condor dragon. It just lets the imagination run wild.
And people forget that the Ewoks were going to eat Han Solo and Luke.
Yeah.
They were cooking.
They're little foragers, man. They got to survive any way they can.
And watching the Ewok adventure, Caravan of Courage and Ewok adventure, they battle tree. There's a monster inside of a tree, and they're not surprised. There's dog monsters that they fight with their spears. They have blow darts that just knock out dogs. There's a dragon. There's a scene, right, where Wicket has a hang glider. Wicket builds an improvised hang glider, Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's crazy too? Ewoks Caravan of Courage and Ewok Adventure is about a young girl and Ewoks, Sindel, trying to save Sindel's family. They save the family. They kill a giant who's eating another giant, by the way. They kill him. The next film starts at Ewoks: The Battle for Endor with these marauders or Sanniasins Sanyasssans, these marauders killing her entire family.
Oh my
And
God.
they slaughter her family. And then the Ewoks go and engage them in a battle, and they draw them out of their castle, bring them into some thickets, deep woods, and just slaughter them like they do like they relish in death. They're one-shot arrowing people for a TV movie. Like Ewoks are deadly. And so
Yeah, this is bonkers. And my wife, it was actually very excited for us to do this too. And she was even giving, like, trying to, like, pitch things too. And one of the things that I was talking to her is because, the biggest thing when I think when Star Wars fans, or just kind of general Star Wars fans, everyone's like, Ewoks are like, how could trees take down an ATST, like that, all these traps and everything. But you got to think yeah, it's a forest and going through, but what properties do all the stuff on Endor have? The rocks, the trees, like,
yeah,
are they, like, in the MCU, there's vibranium that came from outer space, which is like, the toughest thing ever and has all these qualities. We don't even know what the hell's on Endor. It could be like the strongest shit imaginable that these little, furry, tiny teddy bears are using against, the Imperial Empire. So yeah, man, they know what they have, and they know how to use it. The other thing that I thought was funny is, there's a lot of if anyone has a job that they have to learn and doing anything like that, like the Ewok kind of culture is really kind of story based, and they pass things down through stories and words, right? So even at a super duper young age, if all these kids are hearing stories about the killing the giants and going through and do all this stuff, they know how to do these things. They're like, trained at a very young age to know how to make spears and slingshots and poison for blowguns and everything else. So it's like, even if they don't have a whole lot of battle experience, they've got the knowledge, like, right away, kind of ingrained in them.
wow. And they know the turf, and they also have magic. By the
Oh
way,
yeah,
they have
home,
magic.
home court advantage is big, man.
And what's wild is you watch Return of the Jedi again, and there's an article that I love. It's from Wired, and I actually called up my cousin who was a tanker in the army. He was in Afghanistan, and
Oh,
I
cool.
spoke to him for about an hour about the Ewok tactics. He's like, Mark, I haven't heard from you in a year, and then we're talking about this. So we got into a
Yeah.
long discussion. He's like, yeah, man, like a lot of guerrilla tactics, a lot of these kind of warriors, and even George Lucas said he was talking about the Vietnam War. But if you watch this, when the Ewoks do attack, they blow the horns to get the psychological advantage. Then they pop out of nowhere, maybe 100 of them pop out of nowhere about 30 yards away. They lay a huge volley onto the Imperial troops, but then they scatter. But it's not a unplanned scatter. These creatures who are not very fast, they know they're going to take casualties, but they lead the Imperial army, who at one point is just in a ball, a tight knit ball of firepower that would destroy anything in their wake. But they slowly spread them out across the forest. They go deep, like they take the ATSDs to get hit by the logs, to step on the logs. They set traps. They have catapults. They have Ewoks leading ATSTs and Imperial soldiers into traps. We're talking not one trap, not two trap. They lead them to a thing. They get rocks dropped on them. They get hit by Ewoks on ropes, and other ones jump on them. When the stormtroopers are shooting at Han and Leia, they sneak up behind them and kill them. This is a multifaceted, multi-plane attack that there's a lot of Ewok casualties, but they accept that because, listen, in Battle for Endor, they get wiped off, they get beat up by the Marauders pretty easy. They're probably used to taking casualties. And so just watching them just spread this army out. And I love this quote. It says, the Ewoks managed to overwhelm and completely defeat a technologically superior force simply by using conventional military tactics. And in this article, they make fun of the rebellion because they just go on hope. He's like, if you look at Hoth, there's nothing blocking the AT-ATs. Like, it's a horrible plan. And so, but in this one, they have like full synchronization. They have psychological ploys. And the very last, let me read this to you. Like, I just love this. In this single engagement, the Ewoks managed to overwhelm and completely defeat a technologically superior force simply by using conventional military tactics and the principles of multi-domain operations. Through the synchronization of direct and indirect fire, they have hang gliders going through the forest, close air
Yeah.
support, combat engineer principles, deception, psychological operations, and massing their forces at the key point in time and space, the Ewoks demonstrate their proficiency in land warfare. And they really do. They spread these Imperials out. and then they
Yeah,
slowly
and
pick
it's
them
it's
off.
it's adaptable too, because I know you had asked me the other day of just like, how many of these traps do you think were preset because of everything else that was on Endor, and it's probably a good amount. So even if they did have things set up for, the Imperials, if they didn't get used or it didn't get used enough or it got, deactivated or whatever, they probably had 3, 4, 5 other ones in close proximity that they could use that maybe was set up for something else. So home court advantage is huge for these guys. They know how to do it. They know what they have. They could probably get things together pretty darn quick. And as far as the casualties thing, this would probably be a whole other podcast or take us down a road that we don't need to go. But knowing that they're going to have casualties, what do you think the breeding capabilities of Ewoks are? Because if they know they're going to lose a lot, that they're right there to bring back the numbers.
I mean, they're plentiful, man. When you see
Oh
them
yeah,
at the end when they're partying, that's a full-on forest rave. Like pilots are dancing with Ewoks. They are a dense population. I really think so. Because they live up in the trees. Sure, some of them get eaten by tree monsters. Maybe the
yeah,
occasional giant comes through, some marauding bands. But there's a healthy population of Ewoks around. And they're very intelligent. I mean, they figure out that ATST like it's nothing. Wicket, other Ewoks can get on those speeders and not crash. Like they
hmm
know how to flick the switches on them. And you
yeah,
know me about my flicking switches in movies. Like they can like they're just as intelligent as the humans are. So yes, they're furry. Yes, they're little. Yes, they don't have guns. But there's a scene in the Battle for Endor when it goes full Attack of the Clones and just Ewoks walk through the frame with guns, shooting the daylights out of the Marauders. It's a slaughter. It's a
yeah.
bloodfest, and there's smiles on their faces. So they're cute and cuddly, but they'll murder. So I think they're a very good foe for the Yautja
Oh
because
yeah.
you and I have talked about this. But if you think about Predator, the first Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, he draws the Yautja into a trap, a slow trap. He leads the Yautja towards the tunnel. He's not just there. And he even puts a fake trap so the Yautja falls for the real trap.
hmm
And okay, there's one thing we need to do. Can we please not have the Ewoks fight the City Hunter from Predator 2? Because that thing is mean, Nathan, and I
I
don't want.
told you. Now,
Ugh.
I told you I just watched this earlier today in preparation, and yeah, that thing is brutal, but it's also like really dumb. So it could be. I mean, watching through it again, and I was just like, they're looking for the highest caliber of people to hunt and going through. So you think like, the special ops team with Arnold and Carl Weathers and all this stuff, or even like the mass murderers and predators and things like that. But like Danny Glover is his go-to, and like the cop that like doesn't give a shit and doesn't have time for this, is just gonna like fuck around with everyone. Like as you're watching Danny Glover go around in that movie, like he is the worst trained cop, just how he's like throwing his gun around and doing everything. And I was just going through and I was like, man, like this is probably the easiest the Predator had it, because it's just dudes with guns in a city, or even just like, Bill Paxton with a big knife.
hmm
And he gets like kind of demolished, like his hand gets cut off and shit. Like,
He tries to blow himself up in the middle of the city like a cheap shotting little punk. And
yeah, yeah.
the thing I love most about Predator 2 is that the City Hunter just woefully misjudges Danny Glover. They show his stats one time on a computer, and they said that he's 60% more aggressive than every other cop. Danny Glover is, and he just like, in most films, Nathan, you and I are cops, and we see a Yautja and we engage with it. We somehow survive. We're not following it back to its ship.
Oh
Danny
no.
Glover follows it back, cuts its arm off, engages in combat with it in a very smoky ship, and it's just it makes me so happy. And it's because it's I guess I just don't want to see the Ewoks fight the City Hunter, because the City Hunter to me is the most violent. It rips out spines. It hangs like it's the most malicious, I think,
It's
of
got the
all of
net
the Yautja.
launcher, which is one of the best weapons. Like it could get probably about 4 or 5 Ewoks in
Yes.
that net
Yeah.
and
I mean,
just slowly constrict it and turn them into cubes. But yeah, I agree. It's definitely one of the most brutal. But at the same time, the Ewoks could do that same stuff too. One thing I saw is they're canonically as strong as Wookiees. Someone was like, "Oh, you think it's all fur, that it's like fat underneath that full fur? No, it's all muscle." And it was going through tactics of like, in Jedi when they're like sitting there, it's kind of the comical stuff where they're just sitting there like, banging at the ankle of the ATST. But, if they're fighting giants or other things, like those are probably weak points of these things that they're used to fighting. And it may, they're not used to fighting something metal, but if they hack it an ankle or Achilles for a while, they may be able to take it down. The same thing at like when they're being dragged behind the ATST, when they try to trip it, kind of a comical thing that could have worked for these big old, giant monsters or dogs that are around, that they may be able to just like trip it up and hog tie it.
Yeah, I mean, it's trial and error.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. And yeah, they're balls of muscle, because it's not an easy life on Endor. Like we said, Nathan, it's a death planet. There's just everything from anywhere. There's lakes that can suck you into them, and then you are on the other side of the lake. There's magic in this world.
Yeah.
And they're kind of the apex species. And I love that they wiped the Marauders off the face of the earth. They killed one of the last giants. Like these things are brutal. And I was thinking too, with their bows and arrows. I mean, Predator, bow and arrow. Then you have Prey, bow and arrow. Like they have all the skill sets. Arnold set a trap in Predator. Adrian Brody sets traps in Predators. In Prey, they set traps and they kill the Yautja. So I mean, these Ewoks. I mean, listen, if the feral Predator from Prey gets a hold of an Ewok, he's gonna toss that Ewok like it's a marshmallow.
Oh
Right?
yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I mean, if the Predator from the original film can pick Arnold off of his feet with ease, then the feral Predator is going to be chucking around Ewoks like they're stuffed animals. So, oh no, they're going to chuck him on like the Sharknado pillow that you got me, that I have sitting looking at me right now, probably back in like 2015. But
Yeah, you've had that for a while.
yeah, but so for me, I want to pitch this to you. A Yautja comes to Earth. Which one do we want to use from all the films?
That was going to be my question, because that depends. That's going to be a big thing as far as like a pro cons, is what era or what type. Because you have the more primitive one in Prey that's more feral and going through, and the weapons aren't as sophisticated. And then you have things like from Alien versus Predator, where they have like more long range stuff with with the razor discs and things like that. So I think it really definitely depends. Which could also, play into the fact that if the Ewoks get a hold of any of these weapons themselves, will that turn the tide? So I don't know. What do you think? What would be the best situation to put this one in?
Okay, so Prey is a kind of a prequel. Star Wars takes place in a galaxy, a long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away, yeah.
And first, I don't want to see Upgrade Predator from the Predator fighting the Ewoks. I don't want to see Berserker from Predators, even though I love the Berserker from Predators. I just think it's a lot. Wolf, I think, from AVP just destroys xenomorphs with ease. Complete monster. So for me, I mean, I do love Celtic from AVP. There are some AVP ones I like. Scar is cool. Fugitive is cool from the Predator. But I think we should go with Feral Predator, just because they both take place a long time ago, or you know what I mean?
I'm cool with that. Yeah, we can set it on that one. So I don't know, what should we do? What should we start with? Like a pros and cons list?
Let's say the feral Predator comes to Endor to kill the tree monsters, the dog creatures. There's a scene, and did I tell you that? I think I told you this, and maybe I stopped. But there's a scene where Wicket rescues Sindel from a flying dragon by dropping a rock on the dragon's head. The dragon drops Sindel, then Wicket speeds down and catches Sindel, and then manages to live. Like, these are very sophisticated creatures, Nathan.
Yeah.
Who can build impromptu hang gliders in caves out of bones.
Yeah.
Wow. So we'll save the feral predators here. Now,
okay.
One con I want to talk about with the feral predator is that there's a scene in Prey where the French fur trappers lead the predator into a kind of a shooting range, and the predator does walk onto a bear trap.
Oh, I remember that.
And you're kind of thinking to yourself, it's feral predator. Come on, man. Like, it's... And then they actually so here's what we got to know. Ropes won't work for the Ewoks, because when those French fur traders put the rope net over the feral predator, they're toast. So we got to get that out the way. But okay, so we got to know that this feral predator will walk on traps. Mm-hmm. Also, Naru, she uses its helmet to kill it. So she
At
tricks
the end,
the
yeah, she
predator
used
to fall into
technology
the mud
against it.
pit. Yeah, and fall
Yeah.
into the mud pit. The predator, I love on the franchise all the aliens who lose arms. So in Predator, one loses an arm, in Predators, one loses an arm, in Prey, one loses an arm. It's so much arm losing from
It's the expendable appendage.
yeah, from the xenomorphs. It's like Star Wars too. It's another thing. Like Vader gets his arm chopped off. Luke
Exactly.
gets his arm chopped off. So I do think that this feral predator, like the shield is amazing. It's huge. It can jump through trees. I don't know how tree branches can withstand it. I don't really understand. It can pick up a bear over its head and just
Yeah.
let the blood drain over it. So this thing can pick
Strength
up.
advantage.
It can pick up a 1,500
Too.
pound bear, Nathan.
Yeah.
So that means it could roughly lift up 30 Ewoks.
It could be, or if there are traps coming at it, like if there are rolling rock traps or logs or anything, could it presumably stop them dead in their tracks, or
Yeah.
use them against the Ewoks? Take the big boulder and use it as a bowling ball, and throw a big old strike down at half a dozen, or more of these guys.
Can we talk about the logistics of the feral predator? Because it can jump about 20 feet from tree to tree, and then it can land from distances of about 40 feet in air onto its feet. So
Hmm.
you and I would have shattered ankles, knees, thighs, coccyxes, femurs,
Of course,
clavicles, elbows, fingers, forearms,
everything.
everything. Everything would be butter. It'd be butter. So I just watched Bowfinger. But yeah, so this thing can land 40 feet and just have nothing happen to it. So that means its tendons, its bones, it,
Oh, it's super resilient. It's sturdy.
yeah.
Absolutely. So, and that, I mean, that's the other thing to consider is if they are using, spears, slingshots, all that stuff, how much would they have to hit this thing in order to take it down or really kind of pierce through? Because I mean, the arrows would be able to go through stormtrooper armor, like butter, since we're on the butter subject, that could go right through. And if they have like a super high drawstring, like if their arms are just like chiseled and beefy, and they, draw that thing back, how much force is an arrow going through? So, I mean, it could definitely do some damage, but this is a big old beefy predator. And if he's, in other stuff getting, arrows shot at him in Prey and bullet wounds and all that stuff, and he's still going, he, loses the arm and is still, just as dangerous. How many Ewok arrows
Oh
are you
god.
going to take to try to take him down,
At least 40.
If that, yeah, I would say at least.
Because remember when Dakota Beaver's character was at Tob, he spears the predator through the chest.
Oh
And
yeah.
also the predator totally heals its ankle after getting trapped in the bear trap. And then it does the surgery on its stomach after it gets cut open. We
Hmm.
got to remember that these things have some pretty cool healing techniques. And
Yeah.
so this is a thing that gets his arm cut off and kind of steps back up like, yo, we're doing this. So it's the Ewoks are gonna lose the first skirmish, Nathan. They're gonna like they
Here's the fun thing to consider too. With Prey being the prequel and then Predator and then Predator 2 and everything else, they keep coming back to Earth to like retry and see. Do you think that in this battle, this is the first time they've been to Endor? Or do you think they've been there like a recurring thing to test them out again? Because if that would be a huge thing, talking about the stories passed down and kind of the verbal way of them sharing their lore, is if they have encountered a Yautja before and this thing shows up, they're going to already know about it and they're going to try to already take in some tactics, which could be good or bad because, the Yautja from Prey and then the Yautja from Predator are two completely different. They've got new weapons, they've got upgraded things, they've got different abilities. So that could be a good or a bad thing. But that was one thing I considered when, with all the what ifs before we started talking about this is this the first time that they've shown up on Endor? Is this the first battle of the Ewoks and the Yautja? Or, as I made the joke before we started recording, does the Yautja just not know what it just Ewoked into?
What does your gut tell you? What does your gut say right now?
I think if we're setting it up as the kind of savage predator, the primal one, I think it's probably the first time because it's early on enough in their development with the weapons and how they act and everything else that we might as well go that route.
Okay.
That this would be the first encounter.
So do you think it shows? So the predator shows up, and you know what? I just did some research here. I just want to really quick. I found out that the guy who played the predator in Prey, he actually lost 25 pounds for the role, which I thought was really interesting. He didn't have to beef up. He had to get really lithe. They wanted the predator in Prey to be more of a lithe, like jaguar. If you
Hmm.
watch AVP, they're very beefy.
Oh yeah, they're tanks.
Yeah, they're super beefy. And they wanted this one to be more like the Eco UA of Predators. Like they wanted it to be very lithe and very fast and very sleek. So I just thought that was interesting. I had to drop that real quick
I think
because
it makes complete sense because if their technology hadn't developed into more like they have the what was it, like a spear shooter, like arm cannon thing instead of the laser, it was shooting
yeah.
that stuff that would come back to them. They had some cool stuff, but they still had to be nimble on their feet and getting around and darting in and out with more close range stuff. So that would make sense if they're I guess if they slacked off in their uh as they got more advanced and they dealt with more, the camouflage and the laser cannons and the razor discs. It was a lot of long range stuff that they just
Oh.
got a little more beefy.
Yeah, that's true. They got less cardio because they were just blasting things with their laser
Yeah,
cannons.
they wanted to bulk just in case they did get into those melee encounters.
That's amazing because this one needs to be more physical because it doesn't have an ultimate shoulder blaster. It needs to take
Hmm.
its cannons back. Like it needs to
Yeah,
take its arrows back. And also
yeah,
too, they said that the feral predator was more in tune with the forest. It was more in tune with nature. So that's going to be kind of tough for our Ewoks because they're not getting the beefers from AVP. They're not
yeah.
getting the kind of cocky city hunter from Predator 2. They are getting a lithe jaguar that's not the most technologically advanced and does walk. It has big faults. I mean, it gets tripped and walks into traps,
Yeah.
but you don't want a Yautja that's in tune with nature battling you if you're an Ewok.
Here's a fun question with the scout Yautja, the scoutja that went to Endor. Do you think that they sent this guy there for the Ewoks initially, or do you think he was like, man, they've got these condor dragons and these big giants. These would be really good to hunt and take down. And then when they get there, they realize, oh, there's something else that kills these things. That's the better hunter, the better predator. And do you think that? Well, I guess the roundabout question is, do you think if they showed up and found the Ewoks, because the big thing in the Ewoks' favor, I think, is just everyone is, criminally underestimating them. So would that be a big thing, a big pro in the Ewok favor that the Predator would show up and just be like, oh, well, these pieces of crap, like, he'll slack off a little bit until he finds out that they mean business.
That's a really great question because these scouts can catch serial killers and they can go around the world and handpick people, so they have to have a thorough scouting system. But
Yeah.
also during this time, I believe that you had the Marauders were still there. You had the
Hmm.
Imperial troops. You might have had another giant kicking around. You might have more
Yeah.
dog monsters. You might have more tree monsters. So you're going to go towards probably the main heat signatures, the main power sources, the main guns. So they probably scouted the Ewoks and are like, these guys are beasts, but they don't have guns. They don't have like they have bow and arrows, but they can build like they. Well, on the scouting report, it said it probably that they handed over to Feral Predator. Like, don't like
Let's just pause on that for a second. He's got a big old file full of papers that he brings up to him.
just
He
drops it.
throws it at.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
they have coffee together and drops it on the Feral Predators, on the table, and it's like don't overestimate or don't underestimate these Ewoks, but watch out for the dragons or watch out for the giants. I mean, listen.
Says, who's the hunter here? You're just a scout. Go do your job. Doesn't know what to do.
That'd be funny if the feral.
As a hunter, don't you tell me how to do my job.
It's like the researchers, like, oh, researchers are such idiots. But
Yeah.
listen, Yautja collects skulls, and if there's a giant on this planet, that's what the Yautja want.
Yeah, you gotta think the bigger the skull, the more pride you get, right? I mean, yeah, you could have like, 100 human skulls, and that would be impressive. But if someone walks in with like a frost giant from Jotunheim, they're gonna be like, oh, look at Danny. Oh man, look at this one.
Man,
You
Danny,
know,
was that the last one?
yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, I mean, size. I think with the Yautja just culture, I think size absolutely does matter. If you show up with this gigantic trophy, they're gonna be like, oh wow, damn.
Oh yeah, comes back with a celestial, and just everyone's
Oh
like, oh,
yeah,
that's a planet.
absolutely.
And it's, let's say I come back, I'm Rick, the Yautja, and I come back with 47 critter heads. Like, they're dangerous creatures, but that's a pretty great feat right there because they're dangerous animals. But here clomps in Deborah with a gigantic skull, and
Yeah.
she's, no one's gonna be talking to me about my critters. They're gonna want to look at that big skull.
Those are cute.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Deborah got one that's It's just so
You
yeah.
see Debbie's when she came in? Oh, you can go over to Debbie's and see her giant skull.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
Bayou?
these are cute.
Is that the Bayou Hunter? Is that the one we're talking about?
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Like, just, the Bayou Hunter's playing that music again. Oh, he's like in Hard Target. I love that guy. So yeah, So I think it's going after the giant. I really do, Nathan. Yeah. I think it's going after. I think John Lovett Scout gave him the full report, because you come back with an Ewok skull and you spray it down with that deodorant stuff, melt it all it's like, people like Yautja are just gonna look at you and be like, yeah, cool, you killed a furry ant. Like,
you should have seen the whole thing though. Yeah, they're not gonna believe the story. They don't care about the story. They just want to see what you brought back.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not gonna want to hear about how hard of a time you had it. They're gonna call you a puss. You couldn't kill these things, these tiny little. Oh yeah, they were really tough. Oh, okay, yeah. Harold. Way to go. Good job.
If you eat it, you can get a fur ball. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Just brats. And so, yeah, like, listen, a scout who knows his salt warns the Yautja, but Yautjas are, they're like the salesmen of companies. They ask marketing for some information, they get the information, and they might use it, they might not. They might completely ignore it.
Yeah.
So it's like the Yautja ignore it. They're like, no, we don't need it. So they go to the planet, they look for the giant, they maybe kill some dog monsters, they come across a tree monster, they have a close call with the winged dragon, there's some Imperial troops, the Marauders were never found again, the Marauders actually crash landed there, and so maybe the Yautja finished them off. That's why they were never heard from again. So, eventually the Predator's hoking around, and he just blows to smithereens one of the Ewoks, and it's on. Just obliterates an Ewok, turns it into a furry blob of blood, bone, guts, and blood.
Well, for him to be able to take on that challenge to go after more of them, something had to happen to him, right? Because if he just sees them all and blasts them and they all scatter, he's going to think that they're not worth his time. So if he does that, what's the retaliation that he may hit, do you think, to make him go, oh, like you said, it's on.
I think
it's on.
I think the Ewoks retaliate because the Ewoks get recruited to fight the rebellion battle.
Yeah.
Against the Imperial troops. They lose big numbers to help for the betterment of the galaxy. So let's say the Predator, the Yautja, the Feral Hunter just blows up the Ewoks Magic Man. And just obliterates them, right? Just almost comically. Just a bag of, it looks like just, if you carried around a 1-gallon clear bag of pasta sauce and just blew it up with 40 firecrackers, that's what
threw it against the wall.
Exactly.
Love it.
Yeah, in a water balloon, and you just smash it against the wall.
Oh,
that's what the Elder looks like.
They're gonna go back to they're gonna go back to the village. They're gonna grieve, and then they're gonna plan. I think, here's a fun scenario. They knew kind of where he was as he's like probably packing up, trying to get his stuff, take his trophies, roll his giant skull into his ship. And so they know where he is, and they figure out, let's say, I'm going to say they probably take out his ship.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
they would do that first.
I mean, they know how to help pilot. In the Battle of Endor, the Ewoks are on a gun inside a ship destroying people. So yeah, they go in the ship. Like, listen, Wicket walks up to...
Oh, they probably hang glide down and bombard it with their tough-ass vibranium rocks from Endor and just blast, just pound the shit out of it. That's not going to buff out. And he's just, he doesn't have any parts. There's no AAA on Endor. He can't, get his stuff to get out of there. So he's probably pissed off that he can't show up Deborah with this giant skull that he just got, so it's on. He's going to take him out.
Yeah,
Gloves are off.
so they take out his ship, they damage his windshield so he can't fly it. They chew on some cables.
Can't drive with that. Safe light's nowhere to be found.
They take out the blinkers. There's no brake lights. And you know that International Space Police will pull you over for that.
They piss in his gas tank.
So yeah, they
adding insult to injury.
They put a potato in the muffler. I mean, they key it with their spears. Like they put like, feral predators a weenie. It's just mock the predator, wreck his ship.
Absolutely.
And then they're like, okay, this feral predator's gonna come for us. So then they set a trap.
Mm-hmm.
Now in this trap, they're gonna be shooting. They have rocks. They have maybe some guns. They have bow and arrows, rope. How many are gonna die?
Oh God! I mean, I think we should probably start off with a more finite number, or we should just talk in percentages, because if we start doing numbers, we're gonna get bonkers.
Quick question: how many arrows does Feral have? 3, correct?
I think there are 3
so,
reusable arrows.
But that means he has to get them back. It has to get them back. So once the arrows go, maybe the Ewoks plan on that. The arrows obliterate 3 Ewoks, and the Ewoks grab them and run.
Do you think that they have to be the same arrows, or it is any projectile that can be controlled? Because if he could use any ammunition he wants, he went back and got those. Maybe he was sentimental about them in Prey, and those are the ones his granddaddy gave him, when he was just a tiny Yautja. Maybe, but if he's how adaptable are the Yautja too? I mean, if you look at just AVP, where they were using the bones and pieces of the alien to battle, when he got his little squire along with him to battle alongside him, they can be pretty adaptable. They can, suss out traps and things like that. But do you think that the feral Yautja is more in tune to do that stuff by just finding things and making them into weapons, or figuring out traps on its own because it doesn't have that technology to kind of back it up?
And that's a great question, because there's a scene in Prey where the French fur trappers are going to kill the predator. They're trying to kill it, and 4 horsemen get dropped dead immediately. But we've only seen 3 arrows from the feral predator. So the feral predator has to be using something else. Like so it might have used.
Or is there more force behind those that it can go through multiple targets?
Yeah, that's a good point. So I think you're right. It's in tune with nature. It would try rocks. It would try errant arrows, right? It would try anything it could, I think, to do that.
Especially if it knows that it's vastly outnumbered, because if it's going to take more than, 5 airborne Ewoks to, mess up his ship and try to steal his trophies. Like, they probably had to come down on him with a pretty significant number. And if he went to try to scout them out as well to figure out what he was dealing with, because at the very beginning of Predator 2, and even in the regular Predator, he was just watching. He was going around and seeing what he had to deal with, and kind of, making a priority list and figuring out going through. So one thing that I would say the Predators don't do is just rush in blindly. Like, they have some kind of an idea of what they're dealing with. So I think, he would definitely have to make different weapons and even make his own traps, maybe, to try to kind of even out the number, because it's 1 against, a planet, or a moon. Sorry, it's a moon.
And that's a great point. But the one thing is that when you think about the Predator, the Yautja from Predator and the Yautja from Prey, they both are led into traps. Like, they're not the most proactive of monsters.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the feral predator kills the guys on the outside, but then goes in and gets stuck in a trap. In Predator, Arnold double bluffs him and kills him. Like, the Predator doesn't have traps for Arnold. It just acts reactively when Arnold yells and lights the fire. So they don't, you know what's interesting in Prey? They say that a hunter doesn't wait, a hunter hunts.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're very right, though. The Predators do recon and they do watch, but they never. I don't think they've ever had like in AVP 3 Predators just show up and almost get killed immediately. Like they get Scar or Grid the Xenomorph kills 2 of them. They don't have a
Mm-hmm.
plan, so Yautja don't have plans, Nath. Like they don't. So I don't see
They're full of
Feral.
hubris.
Yeah, I don't see
Put that in the
Feral.
cons list. Hubris.
Yeah, hubris. I got a whiteboard. Yeah, so I don't think they plan. I think they are very reactive.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, Nathan, you and I, we're apex predators. Our grandpappy raised us up, trained us. Then our pappy raised us and trained us. And we go to this planet and we kill a giant. We kill giant dung beetles. We kill tree monsters. We kill dog monsters. We kill Karathian bird monsters. And then Ewoks just mess up our ship and just make a fool of us.
Yeah, I think the anger is going to take over. The rage is going to hit. They haven't done any anger management in their society. I don't think any psychiatrists exist. There are no Yautja shrinks. So yeah, I think if they're angered, they just would run into it. So that's a good point too. They may try to figure out what they're dealing with, but I think they're just going to go in. And if you see something that's a quarter of your size, regardless of how many numbers there are, and there you have rocks and twigs, then you're going to come in hubris, blinding you and coming through with your 3-stick shoulder gun, thinking you're going to take them all out. So I think what do you think the turning point would be in a battle between these guys where it would just kind of have that oh shit moment?
This is
like I stepped in it. What am I going to do?
That's a great point because the Ewoks know how to set traps. And if you think about Naru and Prey, she set some beautiful traps that hit. So I think the Yautja's going to come in, kill about a dozen Ewoks, no problem, slice them, dice them, churn them, turn them into a can of Prey goo that hits a wall. It's going to be blood and fur everywhere. I think what's going to turn it is, since the Ewoks have the high ground, it's going to catch a rock to the face. And a large boulder hitting his sensor, its mask, is going to wreck that mask. And I think it's going to mess up the sensors, the radar, the vision. So that thing's going to go, right? I also think arrows are going to be coming from everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so one might hit the Achilles, one might hit the elbow, one might, like, a lot of them are just going to bounce off. But I think a couple might find their marks. And it's just going to be a slow, horrifying. Like if people paid for the pay-per-view of this, only the sickos are going to be watching it towards the end, because Feral Predator is going to brutally slaughter a lot of Ewoks. But it's going to get its arm cut off. It's going to, logs are going to be coming out of nowhere. Like when the Feral Predator is dead, it's going to have arrows, no limbs, blood, green blood everywhere. It's probably going to be wearing an Ewok as a hat. And it's just going to be a disemboweled Ewok as a hat.
Patchwork Ewok.
Yeah, it's just we're talking blood over its face. He's going to look like Nick Cage at the end of Mandy. But dead. My prediction is that the Feral Predator is going to get at least 58 Ewoks.
That's a very specific number.
It's going to run amok. It's not going to stop. It's going to be such a slow process to take it down.
I think it would be more than 58, mainly because the Ewoks are not fast. And if we're talking about the Jaguar Yautja, it's going to mow them down and just not even stop. It's just going to go past with a spear or like anything it has and just start, even a club, and just start bonking them on the head and just laying them out. But I do think, it's going to be a very slow, very painful end whenever the injuries take its toll on the Yautja, just because one little article I stumbled across was just the Ewoks don't go for a quick kill. They, with their weapons, with the axes and arrows and everything else, they are going to injure, but they're not going to kill from those injuries. So it's going to be slow, painful. And also, like you mentioned a couple times, they're going to take Han and Chewie and everyone go back and eat them. So they're used to taking their conquests alive, usually so they can keep them fresh. When they do prepare them, then they'll have their freshest meat. So it would, and oh man, that would be interesting if they're trying to take this thing alive somehow.
So they can eat it?
So they, well, I mean, I'm sure they would eat it anyways, but just if they're trying to just like gut it so that it's completely incapacitated, can't move. I mean, maybe they chop off all its arms and legs.
Yeah.
I mean, if they can't do anything then? But
That's
yeah, it's going to be, yeah, the end of this fight, whichever way it would end up going, is going to be very bloody, very painful, lots of missing limbs and fingers and eyes and appendages, and it's just going to be a slaughterhouse.
There will be no celebrations after this.
No celebrations, only grieving and stories to tell. And maybe they'll just completely wreck apart the Yautja ship. Just strip it, get all the hubcaps off,
Mm-hmm.
anything they can use.
Boost it.
Can you imagine with them being so kind of intelligent or adaptable with technology or weapons they get, if the Ewoks got a hold of Yautja technology?
Oh my gosh. Like
You're gonna have cloaked up Ewoks from now on.
oh man, with floating, like, oh wow, and they're so smart, and they could use their magic.
Yeah, man, you're gonna have some Ewok drones like the Yautja had in Predators that are be going around. Maybe they'll if I mean, God forbid if there were any Predator dogs on that ship,
Oh
they're gonna
gosh,
befriend them, start cross-breeding them with things on Endor.
like Endor, you could just have Avatar 3, but with the Ewoks, with the Yautja gear battling humans,
Yeah.
just going to town. So smart, they would strip the ship, but I do think if a Imperial troop happened to walk upon the scene after it was over, that Imperial soldier would never be the same.
Hmm.
It would just be, man, I just see it all. 58 to 100 Ewoks just obliterate. And also, too, Adrian Brody in Predators, he hit the Berserker Predator in the face with an axe 12 times. So there's going to be a lot of hacking and chopping here. It's,
Yeah.
it's, man, I think we did it, though.
Okay, so we went through pros and cons. We went through everything really. We went through carjacking, and we brought back John Lovett's Scout Yautja. Talked about the savage qualities of the Ewoks and their murderous tendencies. So I think it really comes down to who wins this fight, and I think that honestly, like as terrifying as the Predator is with like the weapons and everything else, I mean, just in its own movies, it doesn't have a very high win record. Like the loss ratio is pretty low, and I honestly, with everything we talked about, I think it's just a numbers game.
Yeah, it
I think
is.
that's honestly what it is. It comes down to the force that it's up against, and if there is an entire moon full of Ewoks that have, traps all over the place and potentially mystical powers and beefed up, their version of vibranium weapons and everything, they're just going to wear down. They're just going to wear down the Yautja until it's over.
Yeah, it's going to be bloody. It's going to be ugly. Uh, I mean, no one takes the win, but you're right. If the Predator dies in Predator, the Predator 2, like the Predator never makes it. Even the upgrade Predators never make it. A Wolf doesn't make it. The Predators and AVP on that ship get taken over by a Xenomorph and they crash and die. So
Hmm.
Predators aren't great at their job. The Scouts are better than the actual hunters.
Yeah.
I
Do
mean,
you think? Ooh, I guess here's a fun question to end on. Do you think their loss ratio is based on the Scouts? Are the Scouts doing an uprising to just give them unwinnable like battles against each other? Because the Scouts, we said, in earlier stuff, are like the lowest of the low. They can't fight, or they've been deemed incompetent. They're the Steve Rogers, pre super soldier serum, so they get the bad job of just finding things for other people to kill. Do you think they're tired of it and they just want to send these other higher level society members to their deaths?
yeah, that's a really great point. For me, though, I feel like there's a real earnestness to these Scouts because if you're a scout and 8 of your Yautja hunters died based on your information,
No one's going to want to use you as a scout. That's
yeah,
a good idea. Is there some sort of referral system in the Yautja culture?
right? Because like, listen, if you refer a Yautja to a giant planet and the Yautja comes back with a huge skull, you're the hot scout, right?
Oh,
You're
yeah.
Adam Sandler at the end of Hustle. You are Albert Finney in The Scout with Brendan Fraser. So it's yeah, I think you're Kevin Bacon in the air up there. It's
Oh my God.
yeah, so
That was a deep reference.
I don't know where that came from, the pit of my soul. But yeah,
It's okay. You can be John Candy in Cool Runnings too. That'll work out.
Wait, listen, if you're not enough without it, you're not enough with it. So, listen, but here's the thing, right? In Predators, they send all these humans to the hunting planet, but these idiot predators are fighting each other. Like two of the predators, one of them gets blown up by a trick claymore
Mm-hmm.
and grenades, and then the other one battles a yakuza, and with the thing could blow the yakuza up, but instead it engages in a sword fight and it dies. So
Mm.
I think the scouts did a great job. Because listen, if you and I get sent to a predator planet, we're gonna get killed quick, and the
Ooh,
predator's gonna be like, why am I here? Why did I waste my time? This is stupid.
here's a rebuttal for the scouts that keep getting their Yautja died. Maybe they're the hot commodity. Maybe they're the
Oh,
big one because they found something that no one can beat.
yeah. So
Boom! So
John Levitt's scout has killed 47 of his last 47 Yautja hunters, and he's number one.
there you go.
That's the final thought. And Levitt's scout sent this predator there.
He did. Absolutely. He's
48.
redeemed. He's redeemed himself for
Yeah.
everything he's ever done. He's made his parents proud. Finally, the proudest you can be of a scout.
Did you hear about John Levitt's scout? He killed Feral Scout. Got killed.
Yeah, they went. It's not even a planet. It's a moon.
And
No one came back. No one comes back. I don't know what's there, but you gonna go? I'm not going.
we looked for the ship and it was
Not going.
gone. Someone stripped it. Oh, yeah, that's amazing. That's it. So the real winner here is John Levitt's scout.
The real winner here is everyone listening to this and the joy they feel now afterwards, both being intellectually stimulated and now emotionally stimulated.
People are running through the streets right now.
Did you hear about John Lovett Scout?
Ah! Yeah, we probably changed a lot of scouting is going to start soon.
You know, if anything, we're just going to cause many more future fistfights between nerds because they had more ammunition talking about the Ewoks kicking someone's ass. So, congratulations to us.
They're deadly carnivorous creatures, and I love them.
They are. They really are.
This is wonderful, man. Thank you so much for joining me, Nathan.
Absolutely.
You haven't been on in a while, man, so it's good to have you back.
We'll have to do some more who's going to win in a fight related stuff because you were doing the final fight stuff for a while, and it seems like that's kind of tarried off. We'll have to bring some of those back for some of these things like this, or just who would win in a fight.
You know what's
situation.
crazy? They do good numbers, the Final Fights episodes, but they're as much work as a regular episode. So
give the people what they want, Mark.
When I first started Final Fights, I'm like, oh, this will be a fun way to do 30-minute episodes. Be easy, talk about the final fight. But then I started reaching the choreographers, doing the fight count, doing the psychology, watching the movie, listen to the commentary, researching the stunt coordinator.
You just don't want to half-ass it, which is respectable.
Listen, I think
it's admirable.
It breaks my heart when I listen to a podcast and people just don't do any. Who's that person? I don't know. What was that made? I don't know. What was this movie made? It's like if you don't respect your audience, why should they listen to you? So I love Final Fights. If you pitch a Final Fight to me, I will do it. I just I realize how much work they are. So I was like, I could just talk about the whole movie. But yeah,
Well, we're gonna have to do something Van Damme related.
Oh,
we're gonna have to do Chong Li or something.
Can we? Well, I wrote an entire post about how Chong Li lost the final fight in Bloodsport on purpose.
Oh yeah.
We should talk about that.
We could do that.
Because that was a popular article. And then it's already written. Want to do that next?
We could do that. Final fight / why Chong Li threw the fight.
Yeah, I got a message. I'm not going to say who it is, but I got a message from a former UFC heavyweight champion about that article.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's like, I thought it'd be garbage, but then I read it And I went, wait, this is really good and thoughtful and thought
He's
out.
got a point. Holy crap.
Yeah, he's like,
What have I been doing with my life?
he's like, I got to fight this weekend in another company, not the Ultimate Fighting. He was in another one. But yeah, he sent me a message and said he's gonna spend time thinking about it during his fight camp.
That's hilarious, man. That's great.
Yeah. And I had Joseph Benavidez, the 125 pound. He fought for the title several times in the UFC and Bellator. So he came on and talked. So I got a bunch of MMA fighters who are messaging me about these shows. So it's pretty cool, man.
Dude, can you imagine? You should do some final fights with them. Get some MMA guys talking about final fights in movies.
Oh, I'm talking about.
Screw me. No one wants to listen to me. Get those guys on.
No, I like bringing in people I like talking to, and I like talking to you. So you always have a spot. I'm bringing in.
Oh, thanks,
I'm
man.
bringing in a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, a fellow teacher of mine, and we're going to talk about
cool.
Born a Champion, the Sean Patrick Flannery movie, because we worked with him. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I used to talk to him about jiu-jitsu.
Oh, Sean Patrick Flannery is?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, during Wizard World shows, like I would chat with him about who was going to win the upcoming fights and talk about grappling. So we're going to watch his, and it has really good jiu-jitsu in it. So we're going to talk about jiu-jitsu and cinema coming up here pretty soon. So
Now, I hope that means you're going to watch the movie Jiu-Jitsu and talk about the complete lack of Jiu-Jitsu in it.
We've talked about that.
Okay, good. Awesome. Just want to make sure we got that covered.
Oh, well, this was amazing, man. I really look forward to that Bloodsport episode, too. I've been trying to get that.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's
to
pick
get
a
people.
date. We'll make it happen.
It was fate. But have a great night, man. Thank you very much.
You too, man.
All right. So for me, Mark Hoffmer, and for Nathan Leahy.
You got it that time, man. You didn't even have to think about it.
This is Movies from the Flicks. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Hey, Leahy.